Heal the world, make this a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying, but if you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Hello, everybody. I'm Lady Cheryl, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this episode, I'm going to share with you how I propagate and even move it around and transplant society garlic because it repels insects in my food forest. I'm also going to share with you how the peas that my Grandangel Bria and I sowed 2 days ago, how they're doing. And I'm going to show you how I am amending the soil in my 2 raised garden beds outside of the greenhouse. And I'm also going to replenish them with some nutrients so that my eggplants will thrive. Last but not least, I'm going to share with you how I use Ollas in my gardens to deeply water the roots of my plants. Okay, let's get started. Okay, guys, it is early in the morning, and I'm working on the emergency garden beds, these 2 garden beds. And let me pan over here so you can see this one. And all I'm growing in these beds right now is peppers, an eggplant, and society garlic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this garlic right here that I pulled up out of the greenhouse garden bed, and I'm going to fill in all the gaps in these beds. Now let me tell you a little bit about society garlic. It's native of South Africa, and it is also a very tender type of garlic that is very pungent, and it will repel insects. Now, when I read articles and information about society garlic, it says that it damages the garlic after it has been exposed to temperatures 25 degrees or lower, and it's recommended as a perennial in garden zones 7 and above. Now, I have had this garlic exposed to temperatures below 16 degrees, and it still survived. So it thrives all year long, and I have only purchased 3 plants that were on life support at Lowe's on the clearance shelf for $1 each, and each of those plants had one little small society garlic inside of it, one bulb. And I also ordered, after I found out how easy it was to propagate it, I ordered several rooted plants, rooted bulbs off of eBay. So that made me only having 6. And all of the garlic that you will see in my raised garden beds were all propagated throughout the years from the original 6 small plants. And I will propagate the garlic in the spring and divide it, especially in the large clumps, like right there and over there. And I'll divide that and bring some of that into the greenhouse. So this is going to be the bed that I'm going to be growing all my brassicas, and this bed over here, leafy greens and brassicas. So I want them to be protected. And I'm going to start by taking a little hole right here, and I'll put in some society garlic. They repel insects. I never see any insect damage around the areas that I have society garlic, or marigolds for that matter. So I'm digging my little holes, and I've had many videos showing you how I taught my grandchildren to divide the garlic and how to plant it. Of course, this is Saturday morning and they're not here, but they know how to do it. And so I'm just saying that in case you want to teach your grandchildren, that is very easy to do. You can look up that video. But so I made the holes, and then I'm going to just take a piece of garlic. You see that? And I'm just going to put it down in there. I'm trying to do this with one hand. And then I'm just going to cover it up. And the roots will take hold. I transplant and divide and replant garlic any time of the year here in North Texas. I do it in the winter, spring, and summer, even in the fall. So I'm going to do this whole row right here, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. As you can see here, I've lined this area. I need to put one right here. There's a gap because I want a hedge of garlic all around the border of the garden bed, because I grow food all year long, and so I'm going to need that protection of my garlic. So I'll take my rake and I'll go back and I'll firm everything up. Okay? Now, if you look right over there, I could put two pieces right there. And so that's what I will do. If I don't have enough to do the other bed, that's okay. I'll divide it in the spring. So I didn't plant this one because it's really too big. So I'm going to go ahead on. Let me show you, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or more pieces. So I'm just going, since I have the scissors out here, I usually take this and put it on a chopping board and just cut it. But you have to make sure that some of the roots are with each piece that you're propagating. So I'm doing this with my right hand. Let me see if I can get it. Let me try again. Good. So we'll make that two pieces. Actually, I could cut it again, but I'm not going to take a chance right now. I'm just going to go ahead on and put these two pieces. One right there and one right here. You see where I have them laying down? So I'll take my shovel. Pull the leaves back. And I'll just dig a hole right here. And it doesn't have to be real deep. I'll push the roots down in the ground, in the soil, and then cover it up real good. And that's it. Put a little bit more soil over there. See there? And now I'm going to go around. I'm going to put the phone down, and I will do the other one. I'll come back and show it to you, because I need both hands to do this, to steady my balance while I'm leaning over this bed. Because I don't think I can do it. I may be able to. Let me see. Let's see if I can show this. I could do this better digging my hole out myself with my hands. Push those roots all the way down in there, and then just cover them up. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. And that's it. Okay. So now I have a few more pieces. And I think that's enough for this bed. I probably could put one more right there, but that's okay. I think it's enough. Because There's a lot over there that's going to have to be propagated in the spring or the late fall. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this way. You see there's a lot of garlic right here, so I'm not going to put any here. But on this corner, everywhere where my finger is going, right in here, is where I'll put the rest of the garlic, because it looks pretty good as far as the rest of the bed is concerned. Okay? But first, I'm going to propagate the garlic. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off camera so I can cut it better with holding it without having to hold the camera, okay? And I'll be back and show you how I divided it. But first, I'll show you the pieces, because this is a fat one. So I can make this into 3. I'll divide this one into 2. And then these smaller ones, I'll just go ahead on and plant them. Okay. I'll be back. Okay, so I've got all of the society garlic planted all around the perimeter. If you're wondering what those little green traps are, those are slug traps. I don't have any at this time of the year, so I'm not worried about them. I might just put them into position. If you're wondering what those clay pots are doing there, those are Ollas. They are unglazed pots that you can fill up with water. I have a video on it if you want to check out my playlist. And you just fill them up with water, and they will slowly water the roots of your plants. And now is the time of the year that I use them, but I put them in place in the spring so they wouldn't disturb my roots of my plants, trying to put them in now. And then I'm going to let you look over here. This is the shade cloth on my garden beds. And I finished the perimeter of this bed as well. Now, in 100-degree weather, we can't grow a lot of things in North Texas. The few things that we can grow are eggplants, and you see the beautiful blooms. Let me go in a little closer so you can see the blooms and the beginning of eggplants on these 3 plants here. And last week, remember, I harvested green peppers, so we have more growing. And over here, we have a nice size eggplant and more peppers growing. Okay. All right, now I'm going to show you something. Hey guys, I want to show you how I fill these Ollas. Just put your water hose in there and fill it up. And it will seep out very slowly. Okay, so that one's full. And we'll put the top on there so bugs and insects won't get in there. And we'll do the same thing for this one. And while I'm letting that fill up, I'm going to remove the bottom leaves that are touching the ground on this eggplant. Okay, so that's done. And we'll fill that up. And I'm going to dig a little hole right here with my hands. Push that down and put that slug trap. That'll keep the rain off of it. Okay. Now I'm going to just go ahead and trim the leaves off the bottom of all of these eggplants in both beds. And the reason why we trim those leaves off is because we don't want to get any soil-borne infections. Never have your leaves touching the ground, okay? And even with my shade cloths on these eggplants, I can tell that they still have been suffering with the heat, because we've been having the heat index as high as 115 degrees and with temperatures over 100 degrees. And I also suspect there may be a little nutrient deficiency going on because I couldn't replenish my soil with homemade compost like I normally do when I add new plants or seedlings into my soil. So I'm going to add some compost because I'm out of it, of homemade compost, and I can't get Black Cow in at the stores, the big box stores right now. So I purchased a organic, cheaper compost. I'm gonna add that and some more nutrients, and I'll share that with you coming up. I've harvested this Japanese eggplant. The reason why I harvested this eggplant is because it was touching the ground. After I put the water in the Ollas, I realized now that I need to cover them up some more, and also I need to add more nutrients in the soil. Now normally what I do every gardening season is I replenish my garden beds with homemade compost. But because I grew so much for the emergency garden and started more containers and what have you, I just couldn't keep up with the supply and demand for compost, so I had to buy some. And the only one that I really like is Black Cow, but in North Texas, you can't find it. I've talked to several people at Home Depot and at Lowe's, and they tell me that it's hard to come by, and as soon as they get it in, people buy it out immediately. So I decided that I was going to just try a cheaper organic humus and manure, and that's this one right here by Earth Grow. And since it's organic, I'm gonna go ahead on and try it. And it really shouldn't burn my soil because it's supposed to be aged humus and manure. So I'm just going to put it around these plants and fill up any spaces around the garlic, society garlic, that I see that it needs. So I'm going to put the phone down and I'm going to pick up this heavy bag and empty it so I can start spreading it, okay? That I covered up the Ollas. Then I spread the manure and compost all around the plants in that garden bed, as well as the society garlic. And I saved a half a bag so that I can use it in the bed right next to this one. And I'll put it around all of those plants. First, I want to show you the Neptunes, and I show it all the time. Neptune's fish and seaweed fertilizer. And if you look at the NPK numbers, is 231, and that's what you want anytime you are trying to produce fruit or anything that flowers and bears a fruit or a vegetable. You want to use something that has a higher middle number, that phosphorus. You can see that it's producing enough nutrients for it to flower and produce fruit. And I'm going to go over to this plant over here, and you can see on this plant the same thing. And the ones behind me have fruit on them. But I can look at the leaves and tell that there's a deficiency. So I want to make sure that I don't give my fruiting plants just plain fish emulsion, because it'll make the leaves green, but it won't bear enough fruit. So I took 2 tablespoons and I mixed it in with this rainwater in this bottle. And now I'm going to slowly water all 3 of these plants that has the compost on top of it. And then I'll do the same thing for the bed behind me. Okay? I'll be back. You don't need to watch me water plants. So I watered all 3 of these plants. The next thing I'm going to give them is some banana water. I just take my banana peels and put them in rainwater in this jug, and they've been sitting in here fermenting for a week. And so it's going to also give some more nutrients to the plants. And I'm just going to simply water them around where the roots are. And I'm going to save some of this banana water for the 3 eggplants behind me. And I'll just give this a little And you can see some of the peels came out, but that's okay. We'll just let it sit there. I'll probably cover it up a little bit with some compost so it won't attract a lot of insects. And it doesn't smell good at all. Okay? All right. So I'll bring these beds back to you in a few days and let you see how they have recovered, because they will. Trust me, I've been doing it for years. Okay. I'm in the greenhouse, and like I said, today is Saturday, and I want to show you. I'm going to enlarge in this so that you can see it. These are the peas that my Grandangel Bria and I planted on Thursday. And actually, I noticed them last night that they had already germinated, because it's so hot here in North Texas. So all along this row, I see the peas are coming up. More will come up later. And the beans here will come up as well, because I'm seeing, for example, right here and here, you can see the beans are pushing through. Well, this concludes this video. I hope I shared something with you that you can use in your garden. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to watch my video. And I want you to know that I love you, and I'm sure you know that God loves you too. Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye now. Coming soon. As a matter of fact, it'll be August, the relaunch of Lady Cheryl's products. These products are all inspired by nature for your hair, skin, and spirit, and they are made with love right in my kitchen from my heart to yours.